start. Hello, you can hear me? Yes? Awesome. Actually, the room is way fuller than I expected. So thank you all for coming and joining my talk. Today, I want to talk to you a bit about mentoring and coaching junior engineers. And why me? I'm Verena. I'm a former HR manager turned web developer turned AWS consultant, now working with Kubernetes. So I'm the living proof HR people can do Kubernetes, at least after a while. So what I basically brought today is kind of exactly that, like this experience from both sides. As an HR manager, I was taking care of hiring juniors, of finding mentors, of onboarding them. And then I got onboarded myself in my mid-30s as a junior again. So interesting. So that's basically what I brought, some tips and tricks, some experiences from my very, very first year working as a cloud consultant. And that's basically it. But before really going into the tips, maybe just one step back, because what I see quite often is when it comes to, hey, we have a new junior, they need mentors, then it's working a bit like that, right? So you all get, but we're not really, the first person not leaving the room will be the mentor, right? Which is okay, and I understand where that comes from. I also know a lot of companies do it differently, okay? I really know. But still, maybe just, at least in my understanding, I would say when you look out for a good mentor for juniors, look for someone who is not only eager, but also able to share knowledge. Because I think that's the thing. A lot of people would love to share knowledge, but maybe they're not the perfect fit for that role, or they also need to learn first how to share knowledge. You know what I mean? So that's basically the thing. Like, you have to be eager for it, but you also need to do it. Of course, as always in life, being responsible for someone, you need a lot of empathy, you need a lot of patience, and that's especially valid for career changers like me. And you should be definitely able and willing to give regular feedback. Of course, constructive, but also regular. And I mean really regular, not just from time to time. That's basically step one. Step two, how would you do that normally? And in my first role, we did, I would say, extensive pair programming. So if you don't do that yet, I would highly recommend, because it is basically working together on problems. So juniors can learn from yourself. They are also asking questions which might even bring some thoughts and some ideas. Aha, true. Why am I doing it like that for years? So it's really a win-win situation for everyone. But it's also exhausting for both sides, let's say, right? And in my first role, we actually really did it like 8 hours a day. There was just pairing, right? Except on Fridays. But apart from that, like from Monday to Thursday on client projects, it was like pairing all the time, sometimes with clients, sometimes just us internally. So what I brought now, and that's now we're coming finally to tips and tricks, is typical situations happening during my very first year in these very extensive pair programming sessions. But I think even if you don't do that extensive pair programming, you might still benefit. First thing, let me quickly show you. And I have two problems with that. I mean, first of all, it's never quick, right? Let's face it, it's never quick. Secondly, I mean, we learn best, and I think we all can relate here, right? Junior or not, we learn best when we do things ourselves, right? We just get our hands dirty. So rather let the junior do it, instead you just quickly showing. What happens then quite likely is, well, you just need to. Again, just as similar like quickly, right? It's like, nah. But more often, or more importantly, I mean, we could just throw the solution right away, right? That would be very fast, efficient. But for learning experience, wouldn't it be nicer to just discuss, like let a junior come up with some ideas, some possible solutions, discuss pros and cons, and then decide which way to go, right? Learning purpose-wise, awesome. I know it's not working every time, right? I mean, we all know how IT works, but generally, if there is a possibility to rather discuss solutions and let the junior bring up some ideas, then please do it. That was wonderful. That was a project in Go. And I was told that you just need to. So just add a map in there, in line 27. I'm like, map. I'm coming from JavaScript, from bootcamp, right? This is Go. A map. But of course, I didn't want to ask, right? Because he was saying it so normally that it's like, you have to know what a map is, but I don't know. I don't know. So it took a while, and he just said, like, just put an object in there. Object. That's the point. So technical terms, especially in the very beginning, they're still kind of a new language, and you are used to a lot of terms. You're used to a lot of sentences or how to describe things. Juniors, potentially not. Career changes, very likely not, right? So just think of it's a new language. If you see someone is hesitating, maybe just ask, like, is this something you're familiar with, or, and you can discuss about. That was the error. Let me just, and off the error message goes, because you have seen that error 1,000 times. You know exactly what the message said. You know exactly what to do. We don't, right? And I think you, again, hopefully all agree, like, interpreting like error messages, troubleshooting, it's essential, right? That's what you normally do on a daily basis. That's something you also have to learn. So it's cool that you know what the problem is, but at least let us read the error message, right? So that we at least know why computer says no, right? Why is your IDE actually really happened? Because people are like, yes, it happened. Why is your IDE so weird? Let me fix that. Please don't. Please really don't. Because the IDE / like how I work is the very, very last comfort zone I have in the moment, right? So, and I mean, I know where it comes from, right? You want to give all your wisdom, you want to share best practices, fancy shortcodes, cool tools and fancy stuff, but we will get there eventually, and then we will ask for it. But at least in the very beginning, just leave. We try our best, but we are used to how we work right now. And when we need your fancy shortcodes, we come back. My favorite. My favorite. Nowadays, you would normally, I would say, like, did you check with AI or Claude or you name it? Still, people get these questions, and have you checked the document? What shall I say? I did, actually. Several times. I was Googling about it. I was nowadays maybe even asking Claude a bit, but I'm still coming to you, right? Because when I, as a junior, read documentation, I feel like that. I mean, exactly like that. And again, this comes from, like, of course, you have read so much different documentation. I'm not starting about good versus bad documentation here, right? But you have read so many different things, so you can very easily connect the dots. We don't, right? So never forget how much more experience you have even in reading documentation and like understanding, like, okay, that's exactly how I did it with another tool, or that's, okay, that's similar like, we don't have similar like. We just like, what? So never forget that. I think I brought some bonuses, some last final bonuses. Yes, that's a good one and a very nice sentence, I know. But as a junior, and I think it's also still relatable to later on, but as a junior, extremely, also as a career changer, the more you know and learn, the more you know what you don't know yet, at least, right? And that's extremely scary, right? You really have to get used to that, because every time you hear something, it's like, oh, wow, new world, oh, wow, next new world. And that's really, really scary, right? And, well, I mean, in the end, it's life. You can't do much about that because it will happen all the time, right? But at least having that in mind, right, is definitely worth. And that brings me a bit to the next, which is a bit similar. Like we all love to be challenged, and that's why we are in IT, and we like to work on stuff, which is not super easy to solve. But the line is very thin between a positive one and a really like exhausting, overwhelming, I don't know what to do. And again, that's completely fine, because again, that's life, and we will grow as developers throughout the time. But just talking about it or having that in mind and maybe checking in with your junior might help. And last but not least, and I'm good in time actually, we learn best from mistakes we make ourselves, right? And I see nodding. I mean, that's how we learn best, right? We all, and I think we all have that experience. So try to find a pet project, try to find something where they can really break everything and then fix it from the ground up, right? I mean, these errors they made there, they will never do again, because they had to cope and deal with them by themselves. And having that, I hope I gave you at least some tips and tricks, and you are ready for your new junior to onboard. There's maybe one last final tip. There is a company called Tuple for remote, blah, blah, blah. I'm not paid by them, but they have a very great guide for pairing with juniors. So there's a lot of what I said actually, but also more. So if you're interested in that, it's always worth checking. And that's about it. Thank you. Oh, feedback, by the way. Feedback.
First of all, thanks a lot.
Oh, we do questions? We do oh, they didn't know. No,
If you don't have time, I can ask offline.
well, I'm fine with questions. Of course, I wasn't prepared because it was like no questions. Okay.
Thanks a lot, first of all, for the great presentation.
Thank you.
My question is, do you think, is it a good idea to make pair programming, as you said, 8 hours?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
I can definitely say no.
Yeah, because in my 20 years experience, I have never had a chance either junior or neither junior nor senior guys have had 8 hours to work together.
It's crazy. Well, I have to admit, sometimes we also had meetings in between, but I mean, it's not.
And also, if we have, let's say, 2 hours at most, the other 6 hours they can work alone and then check their stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I'm not advocating for 8 hours pairing at all. Please no. No, but it's actually really good to have like blockers in your week, and you just have them, and you also discuss with your pair how you would do it. I mean, you would also do that with seniors, right? But like really, okay, how much shifting shall we do? Like, do we make a cut after 30 minutes, we change, or do we make a 10 minutes break after an hour and then we come back together? Stuff like that to definitely clarify. That was not the case in my first 8 hours a day experience. It was my first week. I was just done after work. I was like just sleeping. It was really crazy.
Yeah, thank you. Last thing, I think a lot of people are underestimating the word that you use, constructive feedback. Generally, people forget to give like this, which is, in my opinion, really important. Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome. And it definitely is. Yes.
Hi, thanks also from my side. Can you share thoughts about using AI or the usage of AI by a junior engineer?
That's a good one. I was kind of expecting it. I would definitely, I mean, of course they should work with it because it's something they will do for the rest of their life. But I think it would be helpful also to pair a bit on how you are using it so that they really understand, like, it's not just, oh, cool, there's code, I will just accept and everything is great. But, you know, I would definitely recommend having a session with them together just so they see how you use it, and then let them fill around a bit. But I wouldn't say, no, don't use it, because that's unrealistic. I mean.
First of all, thanks again. And one question more technical, maybe.
Yeah.
You mentioned your transition from HR to web development to cloud, IAC and Kubernetes. What would be the thing that you recommend to other seniors or people that onboard juniors, maybe career changers or transitioners, when onboarding them to a complex technology like Kubernetes or something similar, comparable?
Well, at least I was learning Kubernetes when I was already in the game, right? So for me, it wasn't like not that super crazily new. But I would definitely make a mix of guided with resources, like, okay, this is where it goes. But also really explaining what happens actually under the hood. Because a lot of stuff you find online, they explain like, I mean, that's the deployment, that's a part of stateful set, blah, blah, yalla, yalla. But it doesn't really explain, okay, but this is actually within Kubernetes, this is happening out of these reasons. And that's something I see lacking a lot. So if training juniors on that, I would rather focus on the why is it happening like that. All good? I'm still here. I mean, we all are not here for so much longer, but still the rest of the time I'm here. I'm on LinkedIn, you know the game. Thank you so much.